Morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and I'm going to do our April the 24th spiritual principles a day in a meditation. Hope you're doing well this morning. The title of the meditation is Faith in Step 3. In the third step, faith gives us the capacity to actually make a decision and carry that decision into action. That comes from the NA Step Working Guide, Step 3, Spiritual Principles. When we look back at early recovery, regardless of how recent or distant that may be, we can see how faith inspires some of our decisions and helped us to act on them. Many of us credit some sort of blind faith for getting us through the doors of our first meeting. We decided to get some help and found our way to Narcotics Anonymous. As our heads clear, we saw that our every effort to clean up on our own had failed. Consciously or not, we surrendered and made that crucial admission in step 1. We took another leap of faith by entering the possibility that we could stay clean and be restored to sanity. Faith that the recovery that we'd seen work for others could also work for us brought us to step 3. Deciding to turn our will and our life over to the care of God, to the care of the God of our understanding was huge. It might have seemed too big, really. Other members reassured us, you're just making a decision. You'll have a lifetime to figure out what that looks like. Plenty of time to practice. So, okay, we decide, now what? Some of us get stuck here or find ourselves cycling through the first 3 steps, sure that we've dropped a stitch. We get lucky, as we do so often in NA, when we're sitting in a meeting, only half listening, and we hear just what we need to propel us into action. The footwork of step 3 is step 4, and so on. The faith we practice as NA members gives us the courage to make our momentous decision, to change careers, to exercise more, to marry, to end a marriage. When we're secure in our recovery, faith enables us to ask ourselves some really tough questions like, what do I want? And what's holding me back? Faith steadies us as we make decisions, supports us as we clear the way forward, and keeps us humble as we find out what we're capable of. Faith will show in my actions today as I make the time to do the things I ought to do and say the things I need to say. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. What a gift, that serenity prayer. I'm sure the author didn't expect that people all over the world would be uttering it every day. So grateful for it. So we're talking about faith in step 3, right? And looking at the fact that we must have had a little bit of faith to actually make our first meeting. We had to have some sort of faith, some sort of hope inside of us. Even if it was not too much, it was enough. You thought I was going to say something deep and profound, huh? No, it was enough faith to get you in the doors, which to me is a huge statement because it was unconscious or conscious that you took a step 1 of surrendering. That's why I tell people now, when you get the step working guide and you start getting into writing your steps, a lot of the information is written from the perspective that you are already doing a lot of what it's talking about. You're already in your step one when you actually get the book and start writing it. You're already in it because you have already surrendered. Now, how deep? I don't know. But let's turn the butt kicking machine off, folks. Okay. So you've been in the program and you haven't worked any steps. You know what? Change that. Find somebody. This is what I suggest. If you cannot work the steps or you don't have someone in your life, get a group of your buddies and sit down and start having a step study. Because with the opinions and the thoughts of other people being put out where you can receive it and understand how they understand their steps, it's kind of like having a group sponsor you. I don't know. I don't know where I would be without the steps. Every time I go over a step with a sponsee, you know what? It takes a lot of time to sit down and go over the steps with somebody. And then depending on where they're at, as far as their ability to comprehend, their ability to actually read, I've had steps where I've done all of the reading, ask all of the questions just for the sake of time, right? So it's a lot of work. And you know what? I still, to this day, I think I get more out of going over the steps with sponsees than they do. I get so it's so scrumptious and delicious to me to have this stuff that used to boggle my mind. I couldn't figure out how to surrender. How do you surrender to win? What are you talking about? Well, I think about playing that game, Uncle, and you bending one another's hands backwards, and the person that is, feeling the most pain screams out, Uncle. The pain stops. That was an example, if you didn't notice, an example of surrendering to win. We do it all the time. But when it comes to this disease of addiction, oh, now that's another story. You want me to stop doing what? You want me to stop doing what? Do you not know I depend upon this to be able to do what I do? This is a survival tactic, and you want me to stop using? Over all the reasons that I stopped used, right? For all the reasons I used. And you mean now you want me to stop? You want me to stop using and face all of the reasons that I used for with nothing in my system? Man, please, you crazy. How many of us have thought that? But here we are. Here we are. I want you to go look at yourself in the mirror. Yep, while I'm talking, take the phone, whatever you got. Go look at yourself in the mirror and say these words. I love you enough to recover. Tell yourself, I love you, right? Enough to recover. I made it this far, and I am not quitting now. See, don't quit on yourself, people. Like I tell you every day, you deserve to recover. You deserve it. And if you quit on yourself, you just quit. The world is not going to stop because you decide to go back out and use. The world is not going to stop because you decide to quit. No, 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 no. It's going to be further down the road when you get back, if you get back, right? If you make it back. The basic text says we try to make it back while we can. And talks about how many of us have gone beyond recall, meaning that we have used until we're absolutely, absolutely damaged mentally and physically, unable to recover. That's beyond recall. Yeah. But that's not our story. If you're listening to this, that's not your story beyond recall. Now, I know there's some people that are dealing with the wreckage of their past, right? There are some things that happen. I have a good friend. I haven't seen him in forever because I no longer run that particular facility. So, but I used to see him all the time, come down for meetings and stuff, and he could barely talk. He decided to get high on something, and he almost lost his life. And he's been clean now for over 20 years, and he can barely talk to this day. He knows what he's trying to say, but you know what? He has to write it down. And when he writes it down, he puts the pen between his knuckles, right, in order to write because he cannot open his hand. Over 20 years of living with the wreckage of his past. If he can do it, if I can do it, sugar, you can do it too. You just got to roll your sleeves up and get in here. Use faith in step 3, which by the time you get to step 3, I'm going to say it one more time. You have already begun to live the spiritual principles, or otherwise you would not be at step 3. Come on, somebody. At the end of every step in the step working guide, it says moving on. Right after spiritual principles, it says moving ahead or moving on. I don't have my copy right in front of me, but it always talks about moving to the next step, not resting on our laurels. Listen, have I ever enjoyed your company today? I hope that you will have a beautiful day on purpose. To all of you that are listening at this point still, give me a like or a thumbs up. Share this with your buddies, your girls, your brothers. Share it with them and say, hey, look, I use this meditation to help center myself every day, right? And share it with someone. Share it with someone that can't get to a meeting, because a lot of people have told me in my email, recoveryofhope21@gmail.com. A lot of people have commented down below. I don't miss this meditation. This is a part of my daily routine, and it feels so much like making a meeting. You know why? It only takes 2. It only takes 2 addicts to make a meeting. And I can help someone out there that is not able to get to a meeting every day. I know that I can. So I want for you to share this with them. They're just that important, and so are you. I want for you to have a beautiful day on purpose, because if you don't do it for yourself, nobody else. Well, I would try if I could. I most certainly would try to have a beautiful day on purpose for you, but I can't do it for you. But you know what? Mighty Stream can do it with you. You have to make up your mind to live, the life of recovery in all of your affairs, in all of them. That's why I say do it on purpose. You want to make somebody mad? When they're giving you a hard time, be loving and kind to them, because that's what they really need. They really need a hug, but we can't go around since pandemic just hugging people, right? That's what they really need. They need for you to have a beautiful day on purpose so you can share it with them like I do. All right, now I'm going to be talking to you tomorrow.